everyone, my name is Patty Young from ModKid, and I am here today to show you this fun little project we've designed for you now that the temps are getting a little bit warmer outside. This is the Sunny Days tank top. We've designed this for Baby Lock, and you can download the instructions on the Baby Lock website. I will be demonstrating how to do 3 fun techniques. There's serging for the sides, there is shirring around the top and on the straps, and there is a lettuce edge rolled hem on all the raw edges of the tank. It sews up in a breeze, so you're gonna love it. Place your front and back main pieces right sides together and pin along both short edges, just along the sides. Line up the edge of your fabric with the first guideline on your serger. Make sure you remove the pins as you serge, because you do not want to serge over these. It will damage the blade. And if you're new to serging, just go nice and slow and make sure to keep your fabric straight so that you don't end up with a curvy seam. There's a nifty thread cutter right up here. And there is our side seam. Repeat this step with the other side and you're done with your top. The following step is creating a lettuce edge rolled hem along all of the raw edges of your tank top. So you will, while the straps are still flat, you will create rolled hems on both long edges and along the top and bottom of your top. Set up your serger to do a rolled hem and make sure you have a textured thread loaded on your upper looper so you get that nice rich rolled hem without any spaces in between the stitches. Also, don't forget to set up your differential feed all the way to the stretchiest point so that your rolled hem ends up nice and ruffly at the end. The last thing you're going to want to do is also stretch your fabric just slightly with your fingers as it's feeding through the machine so that that rolled hem ends up nice and lettucey at the end. And there it is. The next step is to create 3 rows of shirring down the length of each shoulder strap. You will make 1 row down the center mark, the mark that you did at the very first step, and then 1 on each side of the center mark, about a 1/4 inch apart, probably the width of your presser foot. Load up your Baby Lock machine with regular thread on the top. You want to choose a color that closely matches your fabric color. Your bobbin needs to be loaded with elastic thread. And I recommend doing this by hand just so you can control the tension a little bit better. You don't want it too loose or too tight. Backstitch a couple of times at the beginning to reinforce your stitches. And then begin sewing. Turn the piece around. Do not cut off the threads. And then line up your presser foot with your first row. And sew your second row of shirring. Again, turn it back around, and then we're going to sew our last row 1/4 inch away from that middle row. Now shoot your piece with a little bit of steam from your iron, and you watch it shrink up like magic. Check it out, and now it'll stretch. It's nice and stretchy. So now you're ready to attach the straps to your top. So as you see, I have my bodice inside out, and so are my straps. I have just attached my straps according to the marks you've made at the beginning of your project. And now we're ready to shear along the whole top of the bodice. I wanted to share with you a little technique we devised at the studio. If you've done shirring before on the round, like we're going to do on her, you've probably noticed that you end up with lots of little loose threads on the seam where each row begins and ends. Well, it becomes a little tedious and a little time consuming to tie off all those loose threads when you're finished. So we decided to do this one a little bit differently. We're doing it as a spiral, and you can't really tell it's a spiral because the rows are so tightly together. They're only a 1/4 inch apart, so it looks like straight rows from the front and the back. You will start out on the left seam and begin sewing all the way around. As you are nearing the left seam again, you will start sewing at a slight angle and do all of your rows that way as a slight spiral, and then you will end again in the same seam that you started on the left side. So now you only have 2 sets of loose threads at the top and at the bottom, and you just tie those off on the inside of the garment and you're done. So here it is, your finished Sunny Days tank made out of Heaven in Helsinki knit. I hope you enjoyed sewing this little project with me today.